Hey everyone, welcome back to Black on the Platform Live, where we spotlight Black entrepreneurs, authors, and leaders who are moving the culture forward and making wellness, wealth, and wisdom more accessible to our communities. I'm your host, Jen S., founder of Black on the Platform, your go to directory and community for Black owned businesses. If it's your first time joining us, please drop your name in the chat and let us know where you're tapping in from. And to our returning viewers, welcome back. We see you, we appreciate you, and we're so glad you're part of this movement. Let's see who is here today. All right. And I'm going to drop in the comments. Oh, I took it off. Okay. If you are a homeowner or if you manage a commercial property, I would love to hear from you in the chat. So I'm going to drop that in the chat. Hey, Tashi, welcome. All right, just making sure everything is good. I will mute myself when my guest comes on so that I don't have any echo until I figure out how to fix that. All right, let's get started. Hey, Teresa, welcome. So, tonight we're talking about something every property owner understands: maintenance. It matters. So, whether it's residential or commercial, quality, reliability, and trust make all the difference. And I'm excited to welcome Herman Jordan of OneStop HGM, a company that is delivering complete property care with professionalism and precision. So, let me bring Herman to the stage.
Hello. I
So,
can't hear you.
can you hear me
Oh, okay.
now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was muted when I introduced you. So I want to introduce you and put it out there for all of our viewers that Herman is my cousin as well as my
Mm-hmm.
friend. And I wanted to oh good. So we do have homeowners in the viewing audience. And I wanted you to see if you could see the comments to Herman. I sent you a message to make sure you could see some of the viewing comments in
Mm-mm.
case they know not yet. So underneath your box, you should see
Mm-mm.
like a box for comments or
Mm-mm.
no, it should be somewhere
Mm-mm.
under there. No, let me try to message you again. All right. But I do want to, hey Errol, welcome. Okay, do you see a message from me that said like a little comment box underneath? It might be different on the setting you're on, but I can read the comments for you when we get to that part. So be prepared to have questions for Herman as we go through this because he is a wealth of knowledge and definitely want to share. He wants to impart some of that wisdom with our community. So first and foremost, I have to also share that Herman is a true visionary. He is the one who came up with the idea around our Johnson Legacy Council. And with my cousin Pammy and myself, we spearheaded and created our Johnson Legacy Council. So I just wanted to give a shout out to you for the ideation and the vision that you saw, you really helped bring to life. So shout out to you for that. But we're not here to talk about the council, although we can, squeeze it in where we fit it in where it gets in. But for those meeting you for the first time, what is One Stop HGM and what inspired you to start it?
OneStop HGM is a kind of like a breakdown of this. I started a company in 2008. It was called One Stop Hauling and General Maintenance, and I felt it was kind of long, so I changed it to One Stop HGM in 2018. So when the housing market got bad in 2008 and people were losing their homes, uh, my cousin Sandra was a code enforcement officer at that time, and I created a company and I, I started working for the city of Rancho Mirage. And my first job that I did just inspired me. Like, I was able to hire people, you know what I'm saying, to earn an honest day's wage and just going into something that's like bad and turning it, giving it art. It's like doing art. You make something that's bad, something good. And I fell in love with it and I've been doing it ever since.
I love that. And for those who are our regular viewing audience, our cousin Sandra was on 2 episodes ago and was talking
Right.
about legacy programs. So those in the chat, thank you for sharing. Those of you who are homeowners, um, she was a former guest. So just shout out to cousin. And so I never knew what the HGM stands for. So it's hauling
And general maintenance.
and general maintenance. But it also
Hmm.
stands for quality, speed, and all-in-one service.
Correct.
So what
Correct.
what gap did you see in the property maintenance industry that made you say we can do this better?
Uh, Mainly just having that, nothing gets by me. I notice everything. So it's like it's the small things that, that people pay for that, come back to haunt you later. Like say you pay somebody to, could you paint my room? Right? And they go to like, yeah, I got you. I'm an expert. And you come in and you see there's nails still in the wall that they never took out and they painted over. I'm the type of person that notices stuff like that. So I just have an eye for, I'm lightweight perfectionist. So it helps me stand out because I turn myself into the customer. I look at it, I come from a view like, people don't mind paying for something. They just want to know what they're paying for and know that they're getting quality work. So I turn around, like I said, and I make myself the customer. And I kind of like try to get their vision of what they want and give them just that.
That's great. So you offer everything from general maintenance to emergency services. Why is it
Hmm.
important, or what made you decide to build a company that truly does it all under one roof?
Uh, Good question. One thing just led to another. It's like you come somewhere, you go to you like say you go into a resident, and working for code enforcement, it was a variety of things. Starting off with code enforcement, it was a variety of things. You had vagrants living in properties that people had lost in gated communities, so the police would, put them out, and I would have to go in and board it up, and then boarding it up would turn into, well, the grass is dead and the neighbor's complaining about it. Could you cut the grass and paint it green like they do on golf courses? Oh, okay. And that turned into something else. Then it turned into painting. Then it turned into, and it just kept evolving and evolving and evolving.
And I love that. And I dropped in the chat to our viewing audience who has dealt with multiple contractors before, because that in and of itself is, difficult. So putting it one company, every service, that's a game changer. I love that. Do you want to say something?
Mm-mm, I'm listening.
No. Okay. So how do you maintain quality workmanship while also delivering fast and reliable service?
Well, I have a CFO, and that person controls like everything that has to do with paperwork for me. I'm pretty knowledgeable of the paperwork, but you can't, you, for me, some people are different, but I like to just be hands on. I just want to work. So I have someone that takes care of all that stuff for me. So I can just focus on the job at hand.
So, like, really learning how to delegate makes it possible. Delegating to your CFO and your um, workers.
Well, not so much workers, because I don't I don't just delegate to workers. Like I'm going to be right there with you. I never ask somebody to do something I'm not willing to do myself. So, regardless if they're getting paid, I still like the hands-on, I still like the hands-on part of it. But as far as the office work, as far as taxes, as far as bookkeeping, as far as uh, doing contracts with government, stuff like that, that should be, unless you just like you have the patience, there should be someone to do that for you.
So then you are hands-on with the quality workmanship that you offer your customers.
Yes, yes,
And,
yes.
and they
I'm
always
all
say
in.
that a good boss knows every level of, whether they're at the top of the company, they have to know every level from the bottom up, because then they know what each role or each person's role is. So that's a good sign of an excellent leader that you're willing to, get in there and be hands-on with it. And I think it's rewarding too, right? Like I'm not a guy, but I know guys they like to be physical. They like to go in and do things. It's like it's a guy thing to maybe I'm being gender biased. Don't cancel me. Um
Mm.
what do you say?
Maybe. But like I say, everybody, most people start in the mailroom and work their way up. So, and it's good because, like I said, a person can't tell you something that's not true. Like, say if you put a person on a job, okay, I'm gonna put you on this particular job. Well, it took me 5 hours. Well, I do it in two. You know what I mean? You're able to hold people accountable because you've actually did the work. It's not someone just telling you, something you've had the hands-on training and the hands-on experience with it.
Awesome. So you've served both residential and commercial properties. What are the biggest differences in needs between homeowners and commercial clients?
Homeowners, they rarely you, you you have to be somewhat of a counselor because you have to, owning a home, you have sometimes your ideas are bigger than what's rational that can actually happen, and you have to be patient enough to be able to give a person a variety of choices, within their budget, or to understand what's feasible and what's not. Now, commercial, and the cool thing about residential, you get paid faster. Well, commercial, it's usually a net 30, net 60 situation to where you can do the work today and you won't get paid for 30 days, depending on the contract you have, but it's never the next day.
That makes sense. There is a
And
waiting period.
you're always working on top of someone else's work. So it's hard to be a perfectionist when they want just to, say if someone moves out of an apartment and they want to hurry up and rent it again. Well, we want you to, you want me to this wall has to be sanded. So now you have to go against your artistic, what I'm saying, what you have, and do less of a quality of work to appease the company, to get them, get that, it might be a hole in the wall and they just don't just patch it. You know what I mean? But you know that that's not how you work. But hey, that's how they operate.
I'm thinking now I've had some of my friends ask me about handyman, and I really thought of your, doing big projects. Do you take on smaller projects as well, or is it mostly larger projects?
Work is work. Work is work. You know what I mean? If it fits in my schedule, I don't turn down nothing. So it's like because usually small jobs turn into big jobs. So you have to be optimistic and keep your open mind as far as you never know what you're going into. So, if a person needs a light switch or a light, a plug change, you never know what that could turn into. So I do it all.
True that. So I am building Black on the Platform to be a national directory for Black owned businesses. And I found it fascinating that you don't just cover um, Los Angeles or, you do other states. Like how far are you willing to?
I went as far as Mississippi to do work, but I also have a moving company as well. So it all plays and it all goes together. So
Awesome. Up, shout out to cousin Kat. I see you in the chat. Welcome, cousin. We appreciate all the Johnson love in the house. So I put are any landlords in the building? If you are a landlord, drop a key in the comments. I'm curious about rental turnover. I know it's a major point for landlords. How does your team, including yourself, help reduce, if you do, vacancy time and protect the property's value of where you're working?
well, you don't really have a hand. You don't really have a choice in protecting the property. You can just I'm all about preventive maintenance. I'm going to give you an option. Okay, if you don't fix this can happen again. So you can either pay for it now, or we'll be doing it again in 6 months. Once again, you have to counsel the people that you're doing work for to let them know what they're getting into and what they're paying for. So some people like to go the easy route, but like in life, shortcuts usually mean you will have to come down that road again.
I love that. And I told the viewing audience that protecting property value starts with maintenance. So um, that's perfect. Am I mistaken? Do you offer 24/7 emergency response?
Yes, I do.
What does it take to build a company that people can trust in an urgent situation? I mean, 24-hour, that's 24/7 emergency response is a serious commitment. What does that look like? Is that waking up in the middle of the night?
Well, it actually depends. It's either a yay or nay. Either I can or I can't. So there's other companies out there that probably could move a little faster, but it depends on the location. It depends on what it actually is.
I love that. So I am encouraging our oh, thank you, Kat. Kathy said this is an awesome platform. Um,
Mhm.
I we want to so Herman, when we debriefed before the session, and he was very generous with being willing to answer questions from the viewing audience. So I have my questions that I always have ready for my guests, but I want to encourage anyone who may have some burning questions to throw them in the chat, and I can read them so that Herman can answer them. So we were talking just now about maintenance, and sometimes property maintenance can go unnoticed until something actually breaks or is an issue. So you like
Mhm.
to be preventative. How do preventative maintenance programs change the game for property owners in the long run?
Buying quality material. Buying quality material. No shortcuts. There's things that you can shortcut with, but then you don't shortcut with your electricals. You don't shortcut with your plumbing. Those are you can shortcut with some drywall, you can shortcut with some paint, but you don't shortcut with things that you have to tear open to get to. And those things are, pipes are behind walls, electrical wires are behind walls. So those are the things that you don't shortcut with.
I could not agree more. I know when I lived in Brentwood many years ago, one of the issues we had was the wiring, and and Jazzy was a baby, and we would constantly have blackouts. And I know that it also could be a fire safety issue with electrical. One of my good
Hmm.
friends works for an electrical company, and they have new compliance codes where you're supposed to have those reset, um, electrical outlets, and so many homeowners don't.
GFIs.
What is it
They're
called?
called GFI.
Yeah, and so many homeowners don't have those, and so you're absolutely right. You don't wanna skimp on the important things that could be an issue between life or death.
Correct.
It's a valid point. Um, so thinking about, a lot of my viewing audience and a lot of the clients that I serve are new entrepreneurs. They haven't necessarily been doing this for 20, 30 years. They're new to the game. Can you give us some tips about maybe what has been one of your biggest challenges in building One Stop HGM and how you push through?
Having too many hands in the pot. Not following your first mind, or doing your due diligence and find out, what you're doing and what it's going to take to do it. You know, things change yearly, and like when I first started, I had a virtual office. Today, you cannot have a virtual office. Banks will not deal with you. You cannot open up a business account, to my knowledge, from my bank unless you have a brick and mortar. So, and that costs. You have to set those costs aside for that. Having your business set up correctly. If you want to get funded, you can't use a PO box. You can't use a mailbox store. You have to have an office. You also do not want to use your personal address as a business, because if you're ever sued, right, they can go after your residence if you own the home. So you kind of want to, keep yourself. Your business is like your friend with money. You want to keep that separated from everything. You know what I'm saying? You want to keep the business over here and your personal life over here. So you build your business and protect it, from yourself. Kind of get what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
I think if I'm saying it correctly.
You are. It makes complete sense. And I have to share as well that when I was building Black on the platform, I came to you for some advice on, where to get started, what states, different requirements. California is an expensive place to start a business with that $800 tax charge, and you
Every
you
year.
put yeah you put me up on that. I know you've helped our little cousin Sham get started, and you have been an inspiration. So I appreciate the gems that you're sharing with the audience because just knowing that you have to have a different address than your own physical address is a big deal. I know that if you are working out of your home, that you can write things off for your taxes because it's a home office situation. But in your case, that doesn't apply. So, um, but
But
yeah.
then you will get then you will
Okay. Did I freeze or did you? Somebody in the chat tell me. Okay, I wasn't sure because earlier I was having internet problems, so I wasn't sure if it was me or if it was him. He froze. Okay, thank you. Hey, twin, I see you. All right, so if yeah, he's gone for a moment. I'll pop myself bigger until he can come back in. Um, there we go. So if this conversation is resonating with you, drop a fire emoji in the chat. Okay, he's coming back. Let me bring him back and let me assign him. All right, welcome back. There we
you know
go.
my phone cut completely out.
That's okay. I'm glad to bring you back.
But as I
Um, yeah, what were you
but
saying?
what I was saying is that I'm in my office at home as well. And so I pay for an office, but I still get charged yearly from the county recorder's office for this space. So I'm paying, as part of, I get taxed for that.
Everything costs.
Everything costs. That's why you gotta like just it's not easy, but it is rewarding, because you get paid for, an idea. There's no such thing as a bad idea. You get paid for your ideas, you get paid for your, to create. And that's the labor of love right there for me.
I love that. It's about growth and vision and visions being implemented to create growth. And, we talk a lot about legacy for not just our larger Johnson family, but for our individual families, for you and yours. And so I think that's beautiful. So as we talk about growth, and you went kinda low, cousin, can you come up on your
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
because you,
Okay,
like,
go.
you down
Now
here, we need you
I'm trying to get comfortable in my
Yeah, there
chair.
you go.
But go
Fix
ahead.
yourself,
All right.
situate,
All
we
right.
all good.
All right.
And for you can't see the chat, but people are dropping their fire emojis and sending you love. Um,
All
your
right.
sister your sister Corey's in the chat giving you love, and, I appreciate that. So as you grow, what does
Mm-hmm.
expansion look like for you? Are you going to offer more services? Are you going to cover more territory? You said all the way to Mississippi. Are you looking for larger contracts? What is your vision for or expansion for your business?
Right now, doing government contracts. There's a lot of things that the government offers that people just don't know about. The government is the biggest business out there, and they offer everything. You can get contract delivering. We seen a contract last year for delivering 800 pizzas a week to the school district. You don't need any certifications for that. Maybe a food handler's license, but if you have your paperwork together and you can get a mom and pop pizza place that can can make these pizzas this is just one thing, but make these pizzas with the specifications of the school district and win that contract. Just imagine 800 pizzas a week, and say if you were just getting $2 a pizza.
I know you're a numbers guy. I know you do the math
Yeah.
fast when I say something. You'll be like, "That's such and such." I'm like, "Dang!" So this
Yeah.
this is the
So
community where we know our numbers, and I love how you
yeah.
always know yours. So we
Hmm.
may need, if you're doing something like that, you might need insurance. I know dealing with some of my clients who sell food or items like that, they could need some type of insurance, but otherwise, it's
Oh, definitely.
yeah. Otherwise, that's a
Yeah,
great.
definitely.
Um, so government contracts,
It's,
and
you have to have it's something called a cage number. You go to sam.gov and you get a cage number, and then you would go like a lot of city governments, state counties. They instead of creating a new service in their structure, they just outsource it, and you would be surprised what they outsource. And we're talking about all across. So part of that cage number is not just a federal government; it's all city government as well. So this is just a variety of things, and you don't have to live in the state that you can certain contracts you can achieve and subcontract it out to somebody in another state. Say if you got a contract out here in California and you bid it on a contract in Nevada, you can win that contract and subcontract that out and still get paid.
that is amazing. I didn't know about
Hmm.
subcontracts. Um, and for government contracts and those type of things, you go to sam.gov. I put that in the chat. Is that where you find
Hmm.
out opportunities?
Yes, you have to Google how to obtain a cage number. It's very tedious. It can be very tedious, but it's like I say, it opens doors for you because a lot of it's a lot. It's just a lot. It's a variety. You have, like I said, just imagine how many cities are in California, and all of them are outsourcing services.
I love that. I'm gonna drop that in the chat for our viewers. Google how to obtain a cage number. And I know some, hi Faith, welcome. I know some people are still just joining, and I want to make sure that you guys are taking advantage of the opportunity to ask questions. So go ahead if you have a question, and you want to know more about government contracts, or you want to know more about property maintenance or about building your business, feel free to drop those questions in the chat. And so if someone right now is watching, one of our viewers, and they are thinking about maybe managing a property themselves, what's the first step they should take to simplify their maintenance process?
Managing, what do you mean managing? Like they own the property already and they want it managed?
Yeah, so I have some of my friends, they actually, I feel like I gotta go low with you because you low still. Um, so so they are they manage property.
Hmm.
Most the ones that come to mind manage residential property,
Hmm.
and there are some people who are interested in uh getting property to be able to have residential income from renting, like what do you call it, multi-home duplexes and things like that. So if they are working on that, it's a process to maintain these properties.
Right.
So I'm
Hmm.
thinking about what's the first step they should take in order to maintain it before they need to call somebody in like yourself.
Well, see how much you can see how much a property management company in your area would charge you to maintain it. Because all you would be doing now is just getting a check. You wouldn't have to worry about maintenance because that's part of the property management companies. That's part of that's part of what they do. So when they because I'm a vendor for many companies in LA, and that's who most of the people besides Uh, Residential customers, that's what I do. A lot of these apartments that I do turnover for are in LA and Hollywood, and they're owned by people who don't want nothing but the money. So they give all that responsibility to a property management company and let them take care of
Okay, so what separates a good maintenance company from a great one?
that. Sometimes how long they've been in business. Why? Because what I've noticed, and it's happened to me, the bigger you get, the less you take care of the people that you started with. You know what I mean? So it's like, here it is. If I started with you, and you had maybe a fourplex. Now I'm doing 30 unit apartments. The fourplex doesn't have that. It kind of doesn't have that much value to people sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So the bigger the companies, and look at the reviews. You know, read people's reviews. It will tell you.
Yeah, that's a huge one. Your little cousins are always telling me, "Mommy, did you read the review? You just bought it or
Hmm.
you just did this and you didn't even read?" So it's really important that we start reading reviews and checking. um yeah, I like that. I'm gonna drop that in there. Welcome,
And look,
Mia.
it goes even further. Like even buying a car, you know, you might want this car, but look, Google that car to find out, what are the things that happens to this car? What's the common breakdowns of this car? You know what I'm saying? It'll change your mind about, because we see things and it's pretty, but under the hood, be kind of messed up.
Bought you a lemon. Yeah. I see we have a question from one of our viewers, going back
Hmm.
to government contracts. Average watcher 5167 asks, "What does your business need? Oh, what does your business need to qualify for a government contract?"
You need to be in good standing with your taxes. You need to maintain insurance. Sam.gov or sam.gov is just like a third party. You are a right person. You know what I mean? If you're in compliance with sam.gov, it's just telling other entities that you're in good standing, and it holds weight in my view. Right? Someone else might explain it different, but in my view, that's what that is. But you have to have your taxes, and you have to it's no time frame that I'm aware of that for your business to be in existence. And like I said, this second part of my business has been since 2018. But taxes are most important, insurance, uh, and know what kind of jobs that okay, for every job that you do, there's a code for it, right? It's the NAIC code. And you have to know these things. Like, say, for janitorial, there's a code for it. For uh, uh, for catering, there's a code for it. For construction, there's a code for it. These are the things you have to put in the system to be, and you do have to have a brick and mortar. And what I mean by brick and mortar, I have an office in Ontario, and they want to be able to come to you and see in your office your letterhead on your door. Open that door, and there's business licenses on that wall. Because you're doing business with the government.
Everything has to be in order. I get it.
Yes, yes.
So I hope that answers your question, average watcher 5167. And I encourage you all to drop your questions in the chat. I actually have a question for you. As a new business owner myself, I do understand about being able to give quality service. Right now I have a small number of clients, but at some point I hope to have thousands of members and have regional hubs and state hubs across the nation. So customer satisfaction matters to me. And I'm curious, what does customer satisfaction look like to you beyond just completing the job? I think I lost your audio. Did you maybe let me see if I can unmute you. Nope, that muted you. Say something. Yeah, no. Is it just me? I lost you. Let me see if maybe you muted yourself when you were looking at your phone. Let's see, because I would like to know the answer to this question. So let me see. The other option is for you to hop off and hop back in. That's another option. No, I can't hear you. And I'm hanging on every word I can't hear. Okay, let me let you hop off. Okay. And I do see some questions coming in, so I love that. Please bring them. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, you can't hear him. That's what I thought. It wasn't me. See, these technical issues, we be learning. Okay, let me let him back in and assign you. Give me 1 second. All right, let's see. Let's hope this works. Okay, say something.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, it's a little
Can you hear me now?
delayed. Yeah, I can
Okay.
hear you. Um, but
All right.
come up a little bit more if you can, or lean forward. There, no, now you're cut off. Okay, I know. All this technical stuff. All right, there
Right.
we go. So my question was about customer satisfaction and
Hmm.
what that looks like beyond, completing the job.
Uh,
I know you mentioned reviews earlier, so
right.
that kind of gauges whether or not your customers are satisfied. Do you at the end of a job, do you do any like feedback or ask them? I'm trying to learn the best ways to make sure that my clients are 100% satisfied. So I was just curious if you had any
Well,
tips.
well, it kind of speaks for itself because they'll let you know. You know what I mean? So they usually let you know. Well, on the commercial side, yeah, you don't have that much interaction because it's a big machine. So, but on the residential side, they let you know, and usually the guys that I bring in, we keep them laughing. You know what I mean? We keep them laughing, and we make it an experience. We don't make you, because we're in your home. You know what I mean? So it's like we make you feel comfortable having us there.
Sounds to me like the answer that I already know, which is it's so important to build strong relationships with your
Hmm.
customers and your clients and making sure that, they have a good experience. It's a quote that Maya Angelou said something about people don't remember what you taught them or what you said, they remember how you made them feel. And so
Wow.
there it
Right.
is. That's what it is.
Right.
Okay. Cousin Kathy has a question for you. Do you see yourself doing workshops, classes for those who want to learn some of the basic things to get started? I love that.
Well, this is something that I've been trying to do. So this is like I said, I planted the seed, and so far, Shamrian and yourself is the only one that kind of watered the seed to grow into what you guys are doing today. So I'm open. Like I've been talking to a friend of mine, a friend of mine in at the post, the veteran post out here, and it's a lot of kids that just don't, pretty bright. It's just they don't have no out nothing to do with themselves, nothing to do with their hands, and we wanted to start something there. But yes, I'm very open to not gatekeep and share what I've been what I had to learn.
I'm so excited because Kathy's question is just so leading. It's almost as though I planted it because part of the power networking team's next step is when we get together for our spring summit is to do a plan for workshops and collaborations. And so being able to roll out even one or two Zoom sessions via part of the workshop model would be a great way to get that information out there. So I'm excited to bring you in, cousin, to the Power Networking team. And I, aw, thank you. I'm about to shout that one out. So Corey says, keep on with the fire emoji, brother. talking to you, and she
Mm-hmm.
said to me, "Twin, you're awesome." And that part, how you make them feel. Oh, I love it. And Kathy says, awesome. So, yes, we are definitely in the right company. And I did share with Dr. Boyce, and you remember you were there, you were one of the people who didn't sleep on having Dr. Boyce as our guest for our family meeting. But I
Mm-hmm.
teased Dr. Boyce recently I presented at the All Black National Convention Digital last weekend, or was that already 2 weekends ago? Was that last weekend? Somebody tell me. Mia, when did we do our interview? But I was on a panel, and one of the things I teased when we were doing the interview was that I need to bring him back so that people will start showing back up for my family meetings, because everybody came out when it was Dr. Boyce, and I have wonderful things to impart too, and I will be doing some pop-up sessions for non-family members called Jen's Notes. And so I too, Kathy, will have some workshops and some wisdom to impart from some of the skill set that I have gained over my life. But yeah, I appreciate the fact that you came and you asked really salient, important questions to Dr. Boyce about investing, and that is something that I think will definitely bring generational wealth for our children, is to begin investing. Um and I encourage that, and I encourage those conversations. So always a wealth of knowledge to share amongst our family and within our community. And so I love that, making sure that we pay it forward. So exciting stuff, Kat says. Yes. So I know there's a lot of shifts within the government contracts and things like that. Are there any type of trends that you're seeing right now with property maintenance in particular?
Not really. It's just a lot of people is faking it till they make it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to tell you I can do something and I can't do it. And I see a lot of that. I see a lot of that. So, it's just be careful. Let people, people that are needing things done, make sure that you check that person as far as, check his credentials. A lot of people don't have contractor's license. I'm in the process of getting mine, but what I do doesn't require one, because I'm a vendor for large companies that have their own licensing, and you can, as a homeowner or a company like that, they you can do work on your own properties without that.
I love that. I know you mentioned recently that you were getting certifications and um, working
I
towards
went
those.
today.
Tell us more.
Yeah, I went today to get my. I found out what type of license I can get and what I have to do to get it, and I'm in the process of it now. So because, like I said, there's a lot of things. There's no such thing as you can't do something. There's always. We live in a country that is a big loophole. There's a loophole in everything, right? And uh, I found out today that instead of getting a B contractor's license, I can get a B2 contractor's license. Never knew that. But information is key. Never have the attitude to where, if a door closes, when we get frustrated, we can't see the door that just opened up for us down there. You know, always keep your mind open, and never allow the circumstance to have you shut down on your dream. Keep pushing, because the only thing that beats a failure is a try. Even if you have to try, you know, a lot, eventually you will achieve what you're
I
trying to.
I like your resilient attitude. It's very inspiring, and it makes me think about another question that I have for you, and that is, I've been able to see the behind the scenes of some of the jobs that you've had to do, or that you've
Hmm.
chosen to do. And I say had to because I couldn't take some of that on. I mean, it's not within my repertoire of skill sets, but um, you go in there and you knock it out, and I'm curious to know, like, what motivates you to be able to tackle those big projects that are, somebody else would be overwhelmed with.
Prayer, prayer, and not feeling intimidated, you know, you know, not just, I'm just, like I said, if I was a barber, I'm just giving it a haircut. It's once again, if it's something I can't do, I just won't do it. I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot. So it's like I've been in a lot of different, different situations, and every time it gets easier and easier. What is it? Repetition. Repetition brings on calmness in the storm.
And it's so fitting, every time I bring on our family members, whether it's cousin Sandra or whether it is Letitia with Glorified Hands and Sandra with the legacy programs, the answer is always the same with what helps us get through the challenges, and it is prayer. And I feel like you saw my article in the Los Angeles Herald where I highlighted and talked about grandpa and grandma and the cafe. And I have a picture of you and I standing in,
Mm.
that picture I'm talking about, you and I standing in
Hmm.
front of the cafe. Seems like 100 years ago. And it's such, and I have a picture of Sham as a baby and Corey with Pawpaw sitting at the table. And, it's such, it brings me such joy to, as a matter of fact, you can't see it, but right up there, I have a picture of Uncle Stanley and Auntie Mac at the cafe. I'm gonna have to
I
grab
know,
that and bring it
I
down.
know the pic.
You
I
know what
know the
I'm talking
picture.
about with, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's just beautiful. It's such a testimony to our family that I feel like they're looking, my friend says, not looking down on us, but there's right behind us and in us, they're through us with pride that we are grounded in spiritual warfare with prayer and armored with that strength. And so I think it's just beautiful that that was your answer, that it was prayer.
Well, like what I stand on is like tell my mother all the time. She planted the seed, and it didn't root right away. But once I leaned more on his understanding and not mine, I was able to water it correctly and grow, you know, grow into it. And the more I grew into it, the more I saw that that was the way for me.
So that I used to host Bible study with our elders, Auntie Shirley and your
Hmm.
mom, Auntie Queen, Auntie Frances, cousin Pammy, cousin Gloria. We would do it once a month, and yesterday was our generation, and the younger generation, of course, starting our first Bible study, and
Hmm.
Letitia is spearheading that. And so we're going to meet every Wednesday. So we'll have to share that information with the rest of the group. We were trying to iron out the kinks and making sure the Zoom worked right. So it was a mighty trio of me and Keisha and Letitia. But I think that's something that when we talk about Black on the platform, it is about the dimensions of wellness, and that's spiritual, that's intellectual, professional, it's social. There's so many things that bring, the complexities of what it is to be human and to survive in this world. And so I think that being rooted in a spiritual grounding is so important. And just from yesterday's Bible study, I walked with so much more confidence and sureness since I we did that. And so I encourage all the Johnson family to come out. And I see our family was brought up in prayer. Yes, absolutely. The thing is the comments come in 20 seconds later than when you and I talk because there's a delay on YouTube. I think they're always checking to make sure we're not doing anything that is not within their rules and regulations. But we've got Kat talking about Paw taught us well, her uncle, our Paw. And so I give much love and shout out to the Johnson family and the legacy that is us. And so I am going to close us out for today. So I appreciate you sharing your vision and the work you're building through One Stop HGM. It is reliable, professional property care that makes a real difference for homeowners, landlords, and businesses alike. And we appreciate the excellence and commitment you bring to every job. And if the community who's watching, if you manage a property or know someone who does, make sure you connect with Herman after this live, and I'm gonna drop his
Mhm.
Black on the Platform listing, which has his contact information. And I also want to let you know he's going to be joining our power networking team. So you should be looking out for some workshops in the future. Herman, before we close out for the evening, do you have any parting words of wisdom, closing remarks, anything you want to say for the good of the cause?
Yeah, there's no such thing as a bad idea. The only bad idea is one you don't pursue.
I love that. And I just have to ask, doesn't it also help when you have community? I mean, when me and Pammy worked with you on the Johnson Legacy Council, it made a difference when people showed up. And so, and I tell my clients this, just showing up counts.
It can, but sometimes you have to you have to build your vision first, and then bring bring people in, because the difference of opinion sometimes, and the different thought processes could steer you away from where you were initially trying to go in the first place. So if you have your base already together, and I'm like, Jen, this is what I'm doing, and this is, and you're attracted to that, then we can put those different perspectives together and move forward. But at the end of the day, you don't want your base or your vision to be altered by another person's. Not saying it's a bad thing, but another person's view, until you actually know for yourself what you're doing.
I get that. And I will say this. Persuasion and lean in this way towards the blinds more. There you go.
Okay. Okay.
So but persuasion matters. It was you persuaded me and Pammy to jump in and start to build the Legacy Council. And I persuaded you to get on free fall at Magic Mountain. I think persuasion has a lot to do.
I was the older cousin. I didn't have a choice. I didn't
He
have a
was like, I
choice.
ain't no punk. Okay, let's go.
Right,
but
right.
but really like making um people come along. I had to persuade people to come to the family meetings as I created that space. I had to persuade people to get on board with Black on the Platform. Even I got some pushback around, you can make a directory, but don't make it Black centered. Make it for all people. And I said, there's the why is for us because I want to bring back that community that the cafe brought for us and the joys and the tears and the laughter that we had in
Hmm.
that space. And we're all over the state. We're also, Luanda's in Canada. We're all over the place. How we bring each other together when we're spread out like that was a digital version. And I got pushback like, don't do it just for us, do it for everybody. And I'm like, no, there's a why here. We have predictions that by 2053 we'll be at a zero average of wealth within the Black community. We can be preventative, like your preventative maintenance care, and do something
Hmm.
to combat that. So, and I'm sorry I went on. I know we were wrapping it up, but I thought it was kind of important that yeah, we build it and they will come. We see our vision come to life before we implement. But go ahead.
No, I copyrighted that and you just stole it. So go
I don't see a
ahead.
trademark copyright on there. But yeah, it's easier said than done, I always tell our family it's free to subscribe to Black on the Platform on YouTube. All you gotta do is hit subscribe. And it's free to come to a family meeting. All you gotta do is show up. And I tell my clients I have a school community, and I tell oh, I should drop the school community in the chat. I tell my clients to, you know, just show up. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be done um to a certain you just build. And so now I'm seeing it happen. Yesterday I joined Howard's session, and our team showed up, and he's building. It was his launch of his first day, but it's amazing and it's beautiful to see. So I think just showing up is 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 important. Yes, Dwayne, Magic Mountain is the amusement park out here, Six Flags Magic Mountain in California. So um that's that was memorable. That stuck with me for life. That you showed up for me when I needed you to. I couldn't go on by myself.
Hmm.
For real, for real. So, yes, join the Culture Club if you're interested in joining our community and finding out what's going on at Black on the Platform. If you are interested, and we got a lot of fire emojis and claps and applause, and they were like, "You said you was wrapping up." Dwayne says, "Jen and Herman, this was amazing. Thank you." So, yes, so glad to have you here this evening, and I look forward to bringing you back again as things progress. So I'm going to move you to the green room. Do you want to say goodbye to our viewing audience before I?
Well, goodbye, everybody. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I hope I answered all the questions that was asked. And like I say, don't give up on your dreams.
I love it. And Herman's business is a Black owned business. So make sure you show him some love and support him and his vision. All right, cousin, I'm going to move you to the green room. You can hang out there for a second and I'll be right with you. Okay, now let's see if I'm in the screen because, oh, there I am. Woo woo. All right, I'm going to drop the link again for you to connect with Herman on Black on the Platform. Auntie, no, better late than never. I'm so happy you made it. You'll have to catch the replay. So let me do my little outro, and I appreciate you all staying till the end. Thank you for that. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss a powerful story. If you're ready to share your own story, visit blackontheplatform.com, joining our community of Black owned brilliance. And I am Jen S., your concierge of connection, reminding you that visibility creates opportunity, and we're here to help you shine. Until next time, say it with me: stay bold, stay Black, and always stay building. Take care, family. So glad you all were able to join.